adoption of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look that over? Entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Okay, approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? Last meeting. Yes. So we'll entertain a motion to adopt those minutes as presented.
So
Have a motion, have a second.
second.
Dr. King, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Director's report. This is this year.
I want to thank everyone for moving today's meeting to accommodate schedule conflict for us. We are planning on attending, several of us, myself and Carla, on attending the 911 professional conference at the end of this month, and it runs to October 2nd, which was going to conflict with the October meeting. So I appreciate everybody adjusting to that. With that, we are also having a supervisor and 2 other dispatchers attend during this week-long training that's going to provide about 9 courses of leadership training for Carla and I, but then also frontline type courses for supervisor and our operators. First time in many years that we've been able to open up the opportunity and have adequate staffing, and just basically being able to send this many people. I think probably since consolidation, we've never had this many attend. So we're looking forward to some great training that we don't normally get. So as far as on the list, tower update, ECS has started the work on the tower, our local tower project across from the PD. Yes. It's still a slow moving. We were hoping to have that project complete with the low band radio and the 700 megahertz getting added to that tower. But they are physically working on it today, and hopefully within the week. We're hoping. Have you guys heard any more updates?
For the emails that you and I received last night, and then we were out there this morning, and
About 10 o'clock.
We're
there by 10.
Oh, okay.
That's part time.
yeah.
Yeah. So they, ECS does work with a lot of other public safety emergency services. So when they have an emergency that does come in, they have to drop and go, which I understand that, and definitely are hoping that we can get them back working on it the rest of this week. The next thing is the interlocal agreement. It's been pushed out. I get asked frequently about it. I think it's still in the attorney hands, but I think it's making progress and has been moved to our county attorney. City has signed off basically for approval.
Do you want me to get my update on that?
Yeah, if you would, please.
Okay, so I did present that to Chad, and he's went over it. He just had one. I don't know if you have it available there to you, Leanne.
Actually, I have copies. Do you have your copy, Brian?
Well, I've got an electronic copy. I'm looking at it here.
Anybody else want a copy? I've got a couple of copies here.
But the section in it would be on page page 2.
Under oversight management.
Yeah, just the paragraph above that. It's talking about in part about the agreement about if the existing facility or purchase or construction of a different facility will be funded in whole by the county, the city, or in part by each. And Chad's thought process was, wouldn't that automatically be funded by both? And why is there a question if it's the county or the city or both? Is his thought process.
I think it's just to clarify where that funding is going to come from, probably being specific, but
and I think where he was, and his question was, if we're splitting everything 50-50, why wouldn't we split that 50-50 as well? Is where he's coming from.
Okay,
I don't think we split everything 50-50.
We don't.
We split salaries 50-50.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
And just a little bit of kind of a discussion he and I had back and forth and nothing in writing or anything, but he's like, so like the county pays for the facility, pays for the insurance, pays for the utilities and all that. And he says, well, if it's 50-50, wouldn't the city be a part of that as well, paying for that as well? And those were some comments that he had made that, I didn't have an answer for. But, because in his thought, when it clearly states that we're 50-50 partners in this agreement, he says, well, how deep do you want to go? Is some of his comments. Don't know.
so our budget is 50-50.
Correct. The operating budget.
Because you're saying salaries, but is it the whole operating
It's
budget?
the whole operating budget.
No, we don't pay 50% of your benefits.
Okay, so the benefits, that's,
Computers, every,
Every-
that entire budget, and she's just like me. Everything we
Employee
submit,
benefits?
Yes.
they take her budget, cut it in half, and then send the city a quarterly invoice. She's just like us.
I thought we just paid 50% of the.
but it was just stated, in my understanding, that the county would provide the facility because we are Decatur County. They-
And those are some questions that he asked.
Yeah,
And I honestly thought, well, that's some conversation
it is.
we could talk about. And that really, that's where, how deep do you want to go in this 50-50? Because it really isn't 50-50 in some areas. And so, and when that brought up, about a facility, modification of existing facility or purchase of, or construction of a different facility, will be financed in whole by, and it says the county, comma, the city, comma, or in part by each. So his basic question is, which one is it? Because it's not definitive in this.
Well, I think it was to be left up for discussion when that happened because it is a county building and it's a county asset.
Okay, do we need it? Do we need it definitive in this, or do we? Need
I think that's up to you guys, being governing body, for you guys to decide. Because that's the fiscal decision for you.
Right.
Not so much for me, because this is your, our building is your asset.
Correct. So maybe that's a discussion for another day, between the mayor and our, the offices, and figure out. how-
Yeah, especially if since the mayor's not here.
Right.
For approval.
That split committee anyway, moving forward.
Yes,
County and
after the
city.
first.
Executive.
Yeah, yes.
Sorry about that.
I mean, I don't know. I know we've been kind of chewing on this for a long time. What are we looking at trying to, is there like to finalize this in local agreement?
Well, this is our last meeting for the year, and our next one is in January, and it was to be moving forward in 2026 with the new governing body.
Okay.
But that question in particular, I would say is definitely a fiscal for the executive board to decide of how they want to do it, because it was put in because the county owns the building. So,
That part I understand.
Yeah.
Um,
but everything else is a 50-50 split.
Maybe it would be a good idea between now and January that the incoming executive board gets together to talk about those things.
Yeah.
Table this for now then.
yeah, but thank you.
Well,
Yeah,
we also need to disable it anyway because they were still working on the who's all is on the operating board.
Which we have brought up, but since we're in open on things on the advisory that we had talked about. We have currently 6 members, and if you guys remember during our committee, we said it's an even. Do we really want to do an even? Because if it comes to a tie vote, and then it was discussed, well, if it's a tie vote, then maybe we shouldn't move forward if there was that much involvement, people being against and for. However, it was brought up about adding Josh on as for IT because he is also a 50-50, but also very involved in both all of our agencies of projects when they come in, if it's good to do or not good to do, if it's going to work with things, and being a voting member on that advisory committee. That's going to involve all of public safety. That's what that advisory meeting is for. We were in agreement to add Josh on to make that odd number. So we're bringing it here to discuss that as well as far as the change. And that would be at the bottom of that second page of the oversight management where it's talking about the advisory.
Right.
You want to finish up the old business first, like that?
Yeah, we can wrap.
You want to budget that
So if
too?
you guys want to look at that, then we can come back to it.
Yeah.
So then it's, the next thing I have is about our budget. Obviously, I've attended city and county side, the budget talks, and we are moving forward with that. They're not finalized, but everything on our budget was in agreement except for our staff analysis report. I mentioned about adding 4 dispatchers to get us up to current staffing needs. City and county have come into agreement of adding 2 of those 4. And we've added 1 on the state budget side, 1 on the county budget side. But with both city and county understanding that come to 2027 budget, we would need to absorb that dispatcher on the state fund side into the county. So we don't deplete our surplus of monies into the state budget. I also had pushed out SOP reviews for the advisory board in June, and after discussion at our last meeting, there was nothing or changes that needed to be made. So I'll be looking to push out new SOPs to the staff within the next month for them to sign off on. We also, I mentioned total response is our call handling side. Josh was involved on that, on the upgrading. It was just a software upgrade on our part. It was at no cost. That's part of our contract. So that got upgraded since our last meeting, which then brings us to the upgrade of our 911 terminals that I've been mentioning this past year about wanting to do. This past Monday, we had a demo of what that would entail, what it would look like for our center. It's basically a basic package for us to then build on for our future, getting some of the enhancements that our center currently does not have. But the initial was, do we upgrade what we currently have with Solacom? That's about $70,000, or do we go to a new product that's going to provide us more for future needs? And that's with the new Vesta product, which also definitely comes with a higher price tag, but again, has the capabilities for us to build on. Looking at it, we're interested in moving forward after discussion at the advisory board. They too agreed about moving forward with it. It's a Motorola product. Our CAD system is Motorola. It integrates into our CAD. The different modules that we can buy, just overall is a huge benefit for the center. So
That's always budget wise.
So obviously you guys know where our budget sits and you know the surplus that we have. Funding wise, we get $27,600 a month from state 911 funds. So that's $331,000. This year's budget is actually higher than what we bring in. It's going to be hitting around $500,000 if everything goes through. So that's about $189,000 over what we bring in. But we have a surplus currently at about less than $550,000. So if you take the 547 minus the 189, we're down to about 358,000. That's kind of where we like to stay for a buffer if in case anything kind of happened. But we were in discussion of having half of it come out of state 911, half of it come out of the county 50-50 surplus monies that we have. which that has a substantial amount of surplus in it as well. And that way it doesn't deplete our state down too low. So we definitely have the money. It's not that we're asking for more money.
Right.
The money is there. It's there for a reason. This is by far, if anything is going to be a reason to use that money, it would be for this. The product is about $223,000, and the mapping system that we're looking at to add on it, it's about $12,000. So if we do 50% on the state budget surplus and 50% out of the county side, we're still going to be way money ahead for it.
Versus the 70 for what you currently have.
Which is what we currently have, and it's just upgrading basic software, and then that's it. We don't have anything to build off.
You guys have seen that, the new system worth the investment and
The interface,
investment.
being able to do more things with one system as opposed to having multiple.
And Josh can also talk about the additional on his side of it's not being worth the upgrade.
Yeah, I'll give the real quick version because you guys know I've been talking for a long time.
Yeah.
Basically, it'll consolidate several different apps and things that we're doing into one. It'll allow them to handle their 911 calls as well as their administrative line calls all in the same screen. And it'll prioritize when they hit to answer our call. Like it'll obviously grab the 911 calls first. But that'll fully integrate into our city county phone system as well. So they'll be able to transfer calls directly off their headset straight to sheriff's department records, PD records, fire department, jail, whatever. They can also handle incoming text to 911 calls within that screen instead of going to a different screen in a web browser with a different system, let alone all of the additional integrations into our CAD system. Right now, there's a few really new shiny features that would be a little too much to try to throw in at once. So probably a future step.
But they're available.
They're available.
But we're not looking at getting right now. So I don't want too
Additional
much.
cost.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
this all costs in the future, right? And the nice thing though is this system is developed for the next gen 911 standards. It is 10 years old, but it's 10 years old in working with legacy systems, and this is their development platform, their product. So we can see just how much it's changed since we looked at it 2 years ago is positive. It's going in the right direction. So I do think just if we need to do the replacement anyway, even just going with the base system with the ability for future integrations, this is definitely the way to go.
And I mean, even though Silicon has updated their software before, it is still the same everything from back in my early PD days.
Okay.
10 years.
I mean, it doesn't do anything else for us, but answer the call.
It's got the old green screen that you started.
No, it's not that, but honestly, this software is still very similar to when we moved to the new PD
Yeah.
in 2002.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's still the same
Same thing.
thing.
The other piece of it too is even if for financial reasons, we had decided to go with, just upgrading the system they have now. It's a shared system with a bunch of other agencies in the state. And it's kind of a chicken and the egg. They're trying to get us all to upgrade to it. But until every single one of us does, they won't even do the upgrade. So we have to commit to pay for it. And he said, we're probably a year to 18 months before we would even see it. Well, at that point, our computers are going to be 6 or 7 years old.
And I don't look
We're gonna
at
have to do something.
some thousand, I look at it as 140 some thousand, because they're already gonna have 70.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it's not that, I mean, your cost isn't.
I mean, the 70,000 plus is exactly what we were talking about before. Take the 70,000 off, but I mean, as far as dollar wise, it's the full amount.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense to me.
It
So,
does.
yeah, so having said all that, I think we need a decision from this board because both the city council and county council are going to need to approve spending of that money. I think we need a decision from this board, what we want to express to the two councils, what we would like to do.
Ideally, I would like to move forward to get it paid for, but the implementation, the startup and all that won't be till probably spring.
So Bill, what you're asking for is a stamp of approval from this board?
Correct.
we make a motion to approve the going with the new system, the
Best.
best system from this board as an approval.
So we have a motion to expend $223,000 for the Vesta upgrade. Do I have a second?
Do you need to say where the money's coming from?
Okay.
Yeah.
Three book funds.
You go ahead and explain that real quick.
So again, the 223 is for the Vesta product. The mapping radius would be another 12,500, I believe. So 50 coming out of state 911 fund, 50% out of the surplus money, and 50% coming out of the cash surplus out of our 4930 countywide fund, which is a city county split.
Any questions on that?
Should we do what we did like with the tower project in case that quote, because there are a few things that may change. Should we do it up to 250,000?
Give it up to,
Just because I
Sure.
know there are some tweaks, some things that are gonna come off, but that price on that module depends on if we pay for it this year or not.
You want to amend your motion?
I will amend my motion. I will amend my motion to fiscally, financially approve what Leanne has suggested, those funds coming from those entities up to $250,000, that this board would approve that.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? 9 seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. And those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
And that is
This
the
is
only
all
thing,
contingent upon the county and the city
right?
agreeing to those funds.
Right,
Right.
so I will go to the commissioners and then also county council and city council.
I don't think you need to go to the commission on this. This is quite interesting. It's strictly council.
You have the money in your.
Then just go to the council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the only other thing I had left on the director's report is just an update on their staffing. We're down to, we have 2 currently in training. 1 just got released, but we are currently down 2 operators. One of our operators moved on to become the new 911 director for Ripley County. So we're very excited for her new promotion for a new position. But we'll be hiring for 2 more. So moving forward.
One last thing with the motor law subscription, we need to discuss anything better on that.
That I think you guys had already got approval from council, right? We're just looking at doing an MOU.
Right, I just want to make sure that
So I think Barry Ritter has reached out to Ashley about coordinating that by email. But as far as county approval, that's been pushed through.
well, that's the end of old business. Then for the new business. There's been discussion about revamping these 2 boards. Excuse me, as it's laid out here in front of you. The current 911 board will be dissolved as of December 31st of this year, pending legal approval. The proposal is for the executive committee to be comprised of elected officials only, the county commissioner, county council rep, the mayor, the city council rep, and 911. And that will strictly be a fiscal body to answer fiscal questions. And then the second part of that will be the new executive, or excuse me, the new advisory board comprised of public safety, the sheriff, police chief, fire chief, volunteer fire, EMS, EMA, and IT. They work collaboratively with the 911 director to establish policies for the operation of the PSAP. Changes will start with the first 2026 meeting. That's what is proposed. Again, I think we need probably a motion and then a vote to approve those changes.
I think we probably ought to change the dissolve date to the end of January 2026. Since it doesn't seem like we'll have that interlocal agreement signed until,
Do you want to coincide that with the January meeting date?
yeah, that'd work.
Because this is in the interlocal agreement.
Correct.
These bodies. Go ahead.
We have to
Yes,
add
but no,
IT.
we have to add IT.
We have to add,
Because
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
as it is in the interlocal agreement right now, the draft that was proposed, there's only 6 positions.
And I see 5 in the executive committee. There's not 6.
Be the advisory.
But yeah,
Advice.
the advisory on number 7.
There's seven, there's seven in the advisory.
But in the draft, there's six.
In
I-
the draft,
It's- Yeah,
okay,
so we need to add the IT person.
in this, it has the IT.
Correct. It's not-
In the draft that was submitted, it was not.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
We need a motion to add the IT.
Correct.
director. I'll make the motion to add the IT director to the advisory committee.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Matt second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye opposed. That takes care of that piece. So again, moving forward now, we're going to make a motion on realignment as presented.
I will agree with Mike is that the realignment is contingent upon that interlocal agreement being signed and sealed and delivered. And that triggers these boards being effective.
Correct.
So until we do that, which we can do that in January,
So that'd be the next piece.
Suggest we table this until January meeting.
Would we be able to
Okay.
do, just have that meeting as scheduled with the existing board and its sole agenda item is to approve the MOU and the change? You end that board and you start another meeting with the other board, just so that we
Yes.
that's another.
do it in the right order.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about in the advisory board meeting today. Don't want to really vote on, the
Well,
board to vote on themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe then you can advertise it. I was gonna say, do I need to clarify that and do 2 separate advertisements, one for the
Yeah.
2026 meeting dates and then one special
Kind of like when we do the
meeting?
special reads that there's commissioners meetings
Yeah.
where we have stuff in session.
so we'll table that until the next meeting. Agreement? Good. That leads us to our target one, target one. Oh.
Well, I mean,
So there is, just to clarify, in the interlocal agreement, a third board. But it is, the IDACS board, IDACS committee. That is the sheriff, the police chief, and then, 911. And that would only meet as needed for those 3 members. And that's to discuss anything that pertains to IDACS, related, which is law enforcement.
And you need to address the secretary invoice approval. Is that done?
That needs to be, so I didn't bring it with me. Ashley, do you have the total? Was it 750?
I feel like it was.
So, Ashley is getting paid to do minutes and take care of the secretarial duties for advisory and executive board. We agreed to that in June's meeting. She has presented an invoice for $750 for payment for her work this past year thus far. So I will be submitting claim in on that. That was one thing that I had left off my report, but for approval to pay Ashley for her invoice for her meeting.
As far as this board, it's already been approved at prior meeting, correct?
Yeah, in June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 2 advisory board meetings and 4 executive board meetings at 125 apiece.
Yeah.
With 6750.
Yeah. No
So that
action.
doesn't need a vote since we already agreed to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So meeting dates for next year. These will all be at 1 PM here. January 8th, March 5th, May 7th, July 2nd, September 3rd, and November 5th. We're going to it every other month rather than quarterly. Yeah, that's great. That's right.
And that's advisory board.
Yes,
The new advisory.
that'll be the new advisor.
This is the one day of the week.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Well, but you won't be at those. You'll be at the executive committee meetings.
which is only one, probably one time a year.
That may not be it.
That's true.
Yes.
I may not either.
Yeah, the executive board's gonna meet once, maybe twice a year.
Right,
Again,
And that would
discuss,
be,
financial matters.
yes.
Right.
And this will be the new advisory board.
which at the January meeting, if that's, I mean, I'm assuming executive, we can discuss at the January meeting, but I would think what, April or May for that meeting, because that executive board would need to meet prior
Prior to
to
budget.
presenting, prior to workshop to put it together. We would need to set that first meeting.
We probably need to vote that May meeting for
So we usually do in like third week of January, is when the county
that.
ones.
So,
Yeah, to build it. So May,
The city runs it quicker than that.
yes, they do.
Dates happen, I just have to publish it and 10 days before the meeting.
So at the January meeting, as far as just go ahead and resetting the meeting is probably best.
We can do that. And when is that? We'll do that January 8th.
January 8th.
8th at 1.
So one executive in the beginning and then the other meeting following. right? Okay, gotcha.
That's right.
You're right.
Actually, it's correct. We're gonna set that for 10 a.m. Because on that day, the LEPC makes it 1. You'd be in conflict with that.
It's on January 8th.
On
All of those days. Giving it to 10 a.m.
I wonder, was that, did I miss something?
No, I'm sorry. I just keep my notes.
And then if it's a holiday, it's expecting.
Correct. It's gonna be the first Thursday unless there's a holiday.
What time on the 8th again?
Yeah,
Yeah, because if you're looking at like positive effect.
yeah.
But if you want to talk to your rest of your board, maybe you guys can find a different date and time. That works.
Look at me. Okay, any further discussion, any announcements? Anything we need to discuss?
Anything else?
I'm the big boy.
Discuss.
Discuss.
Yes, we'll be tabling board elections until January meeting.
I was president.
Nate Storm. That's the only reason we're
Hey.
not doing it today.
Look, 35 minutes. Bill Meyer was president.
I'll, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I like that. Hang on, real quick on it now. Mike, I'll talk about mine if you want to talk about yours, but we're applying for a DHS grant to replace some of our handheld radios that are not P25, phase 2 compliant. Working on that. That'll be due the end of this month, and then EMA is working on another DHS grant.
Right, I'm looking at SHSP, pending the approval of my council tomorrow. With
What's that acronym stand for?
Homeland,
State Homeland Security Project, SHSPs. There's a limit on them up to 150,000. We was looking at, hoping originally may find a solution to our aging command bus. However, that won't fit into that grant. So instead, we are looking at least in discussions with Josh and Mike about what we would need to bring the current bus up to date, IT wise. And then if we can get that, then what we do later down the road with the bus, Josh has assured me that a lot of that technology should be good for quite some time. So they would still be relevant, that if we move down the line, whether it be to a bus, a trailer. Yes, exactly. We could take that and transfer that to that new set.
It's basically trying to do all of the guts, like what we would do in the new said motive movement,
Right.
whatever that may be, trailer, another self-drivable thing. Going ahead and just doing all the inside piece of it. It's the same stuff that we had for the grant, just to go ahead and still be able to apply for it, potentially use those dollars since we can't do the whole thing. Then maybe next year, another grant or some funding source kind of.
That bus is how old, it's old, built bus.
so I used to get on it when I came to Waynesburg to get my Clifford, the big red dog book.
Pretty certain
That'll-
it's older than several of us in the room.
Are we
You
still
didn't
online?
agree then, did you?
So it's still online.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
We are adjourned.